Hello everybody, I'm Lightning Flash, and today I would like to talk about the lie that timber companies give you when they're trying to they're trying to get your timber. We're gonna go over that in this video. This was timbered probably 15, 20 years ago, and most of this is just brush. You got some skinny maple trees, which the majority of this is all just maple trees, pretty much. Maple trees and thorn brush. So the first lie I would like to start off with is how they will tell you that when you timber, it's healthy for the forest, which if you like hunting, that is a complete lie, because the only thing in here is maple trees, and yeah, there's some cherries in here. The reason maple trees are the tree that comes back the most is because they're the easiest seeds to get, germinated and come up. It's different with nut trees, and they're a lot harder to grow up and recover from this. But all that's in here are just maple trees, average of that size. And so the first lie is they'll tell you that it's healthy, you'll get a healthy stand of trees, which is not true. You may get a healthy strand of trees, but it's all going to be one kind of tree. Just because maples come up the easiest, basically the majority of the trees in here, I'd say 90% in this area, are just all maple trees, which is bad because the squirrels can't live on maple trees. So there's a few cherries in here, but just mostly maple trees. As you can see, it's pretty ugly in here. You got big open spaces, some tall stragglers, which fall over like that one did. Another thing is when you have just maple trees, you have just one kind of tree, the bugs will just go right on through them. When you have a variety, it's harder for the bugs to take hold. But when you have a bug take hold, when the stand's all one type of trees, it just destroys the area and the bugs just rapidly go through it. But when you have like blockage, like in between the trees, there's different types of trees, it's way healthier than just having one type of trees. And you're not going to find a squirrel in this area. They're not going to live in a bunch of maple trees. Over the hill where there's some oak trees is the place I see them. I never see a squirrel in this area. I barely see any wildlife in here, except for the occasional raccoon. But this is just what happens when you timber your property. It's not the best thing. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not against timbering. I'm just, if you like hunting, like hunting small game, squirrel and things like that, think twice before timbering your nut trees. I mean, I'd say select cut and make sure to leave some. Make sure to leave some established trees. Don't just do this and cut almost everything out. Because the biggest trees in here are probably that one right there, up there, and they all look sick in here. I'd say that's probably because there's not diversity in these woods. Most of it's like thorn brush up in here, which that's what happens. Trees need to grow up together. Trees need to grow up together, and they can't just recover, because then you got all these tops of trees that are laying down on the ground after you timber, and it's hard for things to come up right. So what I think the solution would be is to plant trees in tree tubes to make sure you have a variety of trees after you're done timbering, because you're just gonna come back with one type and it's gonna take hold and stop everything else. Which, I mean, they'd probably be good for maple syrup, but a lot of these look sick. And most of these trees, I doubt will live another 10 years without dying. And ones like that are forked, those almost always break. So if you have a tree growing up, never let it do that. It will not survive very long. We've had multiple that have been hit by lightning and they just split right off. Like this one over here, for instance. When they look like this is what happens when they grow in a fork and then lightning hits them. And they just do that. And this tree is barely held on right there. So not a good thing to have one type of trees. And if you want a healthy forest to grow up, do not let your trees split off. Just when they split off like that, it's a danger to the tree. It eventually will be the downfall, especially when it's a maple and it's a weaker wood. But as I get up in here, Thornbrush and witch hazel have completely taken this area over in between, not allowing different types of grasses to come up. And this area is not as bad as other areas, but in other areas, this property, the water is horrible. It's so bad that you can't even have anything grow up. Up in here is the worst part of all the timbering. This is majority brush. Just this is what happens. I just think that we need to have a better system for timbering. There's another tree that split off, which that happens naturally, but I mean, if you're gonna like watch your trees grow up, just make sure you don't let them fork off. This is a disaster. This is why I will never timber my property, our property. But I think I have proved a decent point here. Once again, you're not gonna find squirrels in this, when the only thing they have to eat is maple seeds, seed pods, things. And a lot of these maples in here look really sick, so. You don't have diversity in the forest, things don't grow right. Things don't go right in general. As I end off this video, I just want to say, I'm not against timbering. I just think we need to do it better because I care about nature. I live out in nature. When you live out 80 acres and most of your property is woods, you spend a lot of time in the woods. And I don't like seeing it destroyed by timbering. Timbering is just, I don't like the way it looks. And just, I know we have to have timbering, but I just think we need to do it this way. When you timber an area, you need to make sure the area is diverse, or you'll end up with this, where you'll have a giant maple grove, and there's nothing else in it but brush and maple trees. So I just think we should have, they should, when someone's timbering, they should leave a certain amount of trees. Not on private property, I mean like when they do it in like a national forest. Because I've seen national forest just clear cut. So leave a certain amount of mature trees, a certain amount of nut trees, and make sure that you're planting a diverse group, because you don't want one type of trees coming back up, which they have horrible trouble in Vermont with. What are those trees called? Those flower trees. I'll put it somewhere right there, what they're called. But they'll grow up and they'll just take over and nothing else is able to grow up. So I just think we need to have people use tree tubes, put certain kinds of trees to make sure that we have make sure everything's diverse like it was before it was timbered. Okay guys, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to drop a like on this video. Hit that notification bell. Share if you'd like. And as always, watch that playlist wherever it may be, somewhere there. Let's get monetized, guys. Okay, keep it electrified. I'll see y'all later.